Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We got to talk about Survivor, episode 41. No,
Nope.
season 41,
Oh,
episode
whoa.
8, right? Am I
Yes,
right?
that's it.
Okay.
That's it. We will talk about that. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And you can support us on Patreon at
Mm,
patreon.com/nerdtainment. Link in the
please do
description.
so.
Yeah,
Thank
please.
you. Well, this episode went away. Went
I
a certain way.
I thought Shan was a goner, Sarah. I am so nervous for her. She is losing her
Yeah.
grip on this game.
I am worried about her overall game. But hello, Heather. Welcome.
Welcome. You tried something.
Lovely to
And
see you.
yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. All right, well, let's start at the top. Obviously
Yes.
we're coming back from the last tribal and the fallout with the whole theatrics of all of that.
Yeah.
Xander.
Oh, he's like, I did it.
He
I
did do it.
Liana, like I got her. He's feeling good, feeling proud of himself for all those theatrics.
But he's also like, I also got some information about Evie. Not really sure how to trust.
Yeah.
Liana's over here, trying to take my idol. Like Yasa not looking good. Basically, we're gonna get a little segment here about Yasa fell apart. The little turtles who could.
Done. Those turtles are dead. Well, they're not dead, but they are scrambling away from each other.
Yes.
And we get this great montage of they're just talking to everybody. Xander's talking to Shan, talking to Deshawn. Tiffany's talking to Deshawn and Ricard and Nasir. Evie's with Danny and Deshawn. It's like, and Deshawn is like, Yasa is pathetic. Like all these people tried to vote me out at the last tribal council, and now they're talking about wanting to work together. Yeah, right. I'm like, Deshawn actually is probably the last person that you should try to strategize with, but like I respect the hustle with everybody else.
Look, you got to do the hustle. They're all doing exactly what they got to do, especially Evie. I think like Evie, she was a dead man walking, and you got to go repair those relationships. And she's on the tour, but Tiffany and Xander are doing the same thing. But it was really funny when Deshawn's like, y'all were voting for me.
Yeah.
What?
He's like, for real? No. The answer is no. I'm not working with you. Like, you got to do a little more to rebuild the trust. Okay.
Love that. Well, let's go to a reward challenge where once again, Jeff is going to take his Oprah moment.
That's right.
And be like, here's an advantage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here.
I'm going to place it right on this bench.
I'm going to put some real heavy meaning to sitting out from a challenge, but having the opportunity to have something like what? I don't even know. But then I loved that he ended it with bring in the boats.
Yeah, I know, right? They really tried to cut it together. Like he just slipped that advantage right in and then was like, bring him in, as though it's like that seamless.
That's how it happens.
But I do love these moments where he's like, it's really focused on that new viewer, like you've said before, Sarah, where he's like, this is an advantage. And this is a sit-out bench. You always need to be paying attention on Survivor, even when you're not competing. Like it's so like spelling it out for the people who've never seen the show before.
It really is. But they're going to bring in the boats. Everyone gets there. We're going to compete for grilled cheese. And we're going to have the dreaded rocks that we have to pull to find out what team you're on and who is going to go to this sit-out bench.
Erica has the worst luck.
Or is it the best?
Or is it the best? Yeah, because she could have gotten another advantage. She doesn't know that, obviously. Neither does Xander, although Xander was looking for that advantage. Erica draws the odd rock, and everyone's like, oh my God, Erica, sorry, but like, oh, you don't get grilled cheese. And she wants grilled cheese because she just was on an island for 2 days by herself with no food. But there are a lot of other people who want grilled cheese as well. Xander, apparently not one of them, because he's like, Erica, oh my goodness. Oh, wow. You have had it rough. I'm gonna give up my spot. You come over here, compete for grilled cheese, Erica.
Yeah, I mean, I think Xander is in a position where he really needs to do things like this. This is coming off of his big play and his apology tour. And this is another way for him to just be like, I'll help you out. I'm a good guy. See everybody?
I
And
am
Erica is
super
more than
friends.
happy to be like, yes, okay, wonderful. But I do think that Xander thought the last time Erica got this rock, she got a huge
that's right.
advantage. I'm going to take this rock and I'm going to find that huge advantage because he did do a bunch of this, but he did not seem to actually like feel around, is what we didn't see.
I thought, I mean, it's all edited together. So, like, who knows
Right.
when he was actually like snooping around the bench. But to me, I was like, don't snoop around the bench at the beginning when everyone's like, can see you in their sights. Snoop around the bench at the end when they're all working on the puzzle and facing away from you, right? Like, I don't know, but I'm sure it's partially the edit. But I was like, you need to be looking everywhere. And he's just kind of like craning his neck a little bit. It's like, you got to look in the nooks and the crannies. They're not just leaving the advantages sitting out there. But he tried.
So, well, maybe he tried. But obviously, when we get to the end of this reward, he doesn't have as much time for them to like be putting the puzzle together. And he could go on like maybe a fuller search because Evie knows this puzzle.
Oh my
God. And she was like, this is how it goes. And they finished it like that.
It was just like boop, 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 boop. 4 pieces put together like that. It was neck and neck the whole way as they're like getting into the boats, even with like, Heather and Tiffany, who are 2 of our, I think, slower, castaways right now in the physical challenges, even with them on the same team, like these 2 teams are neck and neck, and Yellow does get a head start because Nasir is like beasting it as he's pulling the boat with that rope, And Yellow gets to the puzzle first, but Evie is just too good. And she's practiced. She did the research. She's like, oh, I built this puzzle with beads at my house. And so I knew how it was put together. And Jeff looks like directly into camera. And he's like, that's how you play Survivor.
I just felt the happiness swell up in Jeff at that moment when she talked about seeing it before. He's like, this is what we keep talking about. He went straight to camera again for another Oprah moment. He was like, future players, this is the lesson. I was like,
this is the level of gameplay that you need to expect on season 41. Like, he's really pumping it up. So we've got Evie, Erica, Ricard, Deshawn, and Danny who win grilled cheese. I would say of that group, it's like really Erica who needs it because the rest of them, I believe, went on the merge feast.
Yeah, it's very similar group there that got the merge feast, and here they are eating again. So I do feel for the people who did not eat at the merge feast and are once again not eating this grilled cheese, but oh boy, is Shan hungry.
Oh my God. I mean, Tiffany starts us off. She's pissed that they lost. She's like, I'm starving and I'm 47. I am too old to not be eating anything.
Feed me. Feed me. I would be the same. I mean, I would have not lasted this long because I'd be so hungry.
Then it is straight up tears from Shan, Liana. Xander's crying because they're crying. Like, they're all emotional. Like, I get it. You're just starting to break down. Like, of course, they're probably like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing that I'm crying over grilled cheese. But they're losing it. Like, they're so hungry,
It is so hard. They have not even had the normal amount of rice that some of, most of the survivors have gotten. It is breaking them down. It is really hard. We see them so emotional, but Shan's going to really direct most of this energy towards Evie. How dare Evie? Evie's got to go.
I mean, she was targeting Evie in the last episode, right? But she's kind of like, oh, I got that cry out. I got those tears. Those tears are gone now, and I have clarity. And the clarity is, I still want Evie out of this game. So she's talking to Liana, Nasir, Xander, and Xander's like, ooh, it is good to be with the losers because I have friends now. Like, people are coming to me to talk strategy. We're not busy like drooling over grilled cheese. We're talking strategy, and I'm getting looped into the plan. So Xander's like feeling good about being with the people who have
he's
lost.
like, let me work these cracks. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Sad, miserable. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's vote Evie out. Sure. I will go along with that. All about it, to the point that Liana's like, I have always wanted Xander out, but fine, I'll work with him.
Right. Yeah, I know. Now, Shan's like, okay, I'm starving and I'm going to work strategy. And Nasir's like, I'm starving and I'm going to harvest papayas.
Yes. He's like, you know what I can do? I'll go get papayas and I'll pick them off the tree and bring them down. And he delivers the little gift here.
A feast of papaya. Yeah.
Yes. And they do have this bright, shining moment. I mean, it's no grilled cheese, but yay. They haven't had papayas yet. This is apparently a new find.
Oh, yeah.
Then the group comes back.
They come back and Ricard, oh, don't mind if I do. And
what's a papaya?
Oh my God, I would love a taste. Thank you. And Shan's like, nobody offered.
Shut it down.
Get your hands off my papaya. How dare you? You are full of grilled cheese and I'm starving. And he's like, Shan, is everything okay? And she's like, actually, no, I'm starving.
What part of I'm starving do you not understand? You've had a merge feast and now grilled cheese, and you come over and have the audacity to grab a bite of papaya. I would have chopped his hand off in that moment.
I mean, if Shan had a machete, she might have. And Ricard is like, well, I do not appreciate getting snapped at. And, you know, frankly, I'm a little worried now that Shan is going to resent me for having a bite of papaya. And I'm like, well, you might want to be worried, because if Shan has you in her sights, not good.
And this is exactly, you are next after Evie. It is you because of food.
But I was also in this moment, listen, there were many points throughout this episode where I was like, Shan, oh my God, chill. And this was one of them, because I have been thinking, like, Ricard is someone who knows Shan is a threat, who knows she's sometimes not the easiest to work with. Sometimes she's a little bit of a bulldog, and he could flip and plant seeds and get her out of this game. So I'm like, Shan, like, relax. I know, but he had one sliver of papaya. It's not like he took a whole thing of papaya and threw it in the fire. Like, you got to chill out.
No, I think for Shan's game, she needs to eat real soon.
Really soon.
Soup's worried about her. Okay, let's jump to this immunity challenge.
Let's do it.
Because what?
Oh boy. Again, just real short. Like, Evie zoomed through that puzzle on reward, and Evie's like, you know what? I'm going to make quick work of this one too.
I guess. But Jeff's going to help that. So Jeff's going to start us out and be like, you know, here's an immunity challenge that we can do. And I can offer someone, if they'd like to sit out, a little scoop of rice here.
A scoop, meal. Sarah.
One meal of rice, I guess. A scoop of rice.
So. One portion, like 40 calories of rice.
Yeah, and everyone's probably like, I'm not going to do it, Jeff. That's not it. And then he's like, but also, I could give you rice for everyone for days. A whole bag of rice.
And Shan's like, now you're talking, I step forward.
Shan's like, what do we got to do, Jeff? Spell it out. And he's like, negotiate with me. Let's go. And she's like, 3 people. Like, she started low.
No, she's like, 2 people. And he's like, Shan. And she's like, okay, 3. And he's like, how about 7?
She's like, that's not going to happen. I don't think so. She gets him to 5.
Yeah.
But basically, she's the only one willing to do this. She's so hungry. She's like, please, anyone, I need some rice. Please step out. And everyone's like, I am getting voted out possibly. I cannot do this.
Right. And so then it's Nasir who steps out next to Shan. Nasir, our like selfless king, right? Who is just like, I understand immunity is so important, but I need my tribe to eat. He's like so focused on providing for the tribe. He is our provider this season, right? So he steps out. Nobody else. To the point where Shan and Nasir are like, well, we will step back. If nobody else is going to step out, like, forget it. Like, y'all can starve right along with us.
Did you notice she is eyeing Ricard because he's right next to her and she's doing.
She's like, really?
Really? And he's
Really?
like, oh my God.
He's like, can you leave me out of this?
So he is going to be convinced because Xander steps up. And Xander's like, could you bring it down to 4, Jeff?
Yeah.
Like, this looks like it's not working out, but I will step up if someone else is willing to. And so Jeff says, sure. So he steps out, and Ricard's like, I guess, or Shan's going to come after me.
Truly. Yeah. He's like, I can't have Shan snap at me again. Yikes. But I got to point out here, we have the 2 Uas stepping out, feeling safe, right? And sacrificing their chance at immunity, and a Yasa. And that leaves all those Luvus still in the game to play for immunity. I'm like, seriously? We have 3 people from the minority tribes who are stepping out here? Like, not a good look.
True. It's not a good look on some people, but also those people have idols, right?
True.
Shan has an idol.
Yeah,
Nasir has an idol. Xander has an idol.
Yeah, good point. So I guess they do feel safe. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they feel like 100% safe, but they're like,
but they've got a backup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the rest of them are like, sorry, you're starving, Shan. But we got to play this game. But I think these 4 sitting out really kind of does affect how this challenge is going to go. He said, what did he say? Barely 4 minutes.
Literally, he said go, and Deshaun, Tiffany, and Erica all fell out immediately.
That was it. They could not do it at all.
No. So you're down to Danny, Liana, Evie, and Heather. Danny, then people are just dropping so quickly, like literally 3 minutes in, and it's Evie versus Heather. And I'm like, Heather, God bless. Like, it looks like
Heather? Heather's here?
And I also was like, she had her legs like out at an angle where I'm like, okay, you feel pretty stable. Like, Evie's feet are directly on. I just really liked Heather's form, but ultimately Evie pulled out because Jeff is like driving home, like, you are playing for your safety at tribal council tonight. And Evie is the one who feels in danger. You know, it really feels like she's going to pull this one out to me. And she does. And so she spoils that plan that, Shan was trying to put into motion during the reward. But Evie does get that big bag of rice for everybody.
Yeah, she had the most desire, I feel like, for this. Although Heather was under the impression that she was in danger. Although I was like, I don't feel like you are, but things change. So, okay. But yeah, I don't know. Just having those 4 sit out. Honestly, Shan, you wanted Evie out. And then you were so hungry you needed rice that you kind of helped Evie win this.
Kind of did. Just saying.
I mean, I would have been starving too, but I'm just saying.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying. Right, exactly. Okay. So the Evie plan is out the door. So we go back to camp, and now Liana, Liana has turned on Yasa, because now that Evie's safe, she can't get her Yasa Evie out. She's like, well, I want to flush Xander's idol and get Tiffany out. And I'm like, wow, literally everyone on your old tribe is like,
she's like, they're dead to me.
Yeah.
Get them out of here.
Yeah.
My turtle shoving them back in their holes.
Oh my God.
Won't even let them get to the water. No.
Yep. Right.
But you know what? Danny is going to be like, I'd rather Nasir. We don't need him.
And this is right after Nasir says, like, I'm confident I'm not going home. And then Danny's like, what about Nasir?
Well, and I was like, when they give you an edit where Nasir's like, but I'm good tonight, I was like, wait, this is going to change to Nasir?
Yeah,
what?
I know.
Then, yes, cue Danny being like, I don't care about, like, Xander's fine. Like, whatever. Let's get Nasir out.
Yeah.
Deshaun's like, yeah, I love it. Great idea. Great plan. Shan, however, not a great
Shan plan. Is like, no! Like, she is just pushing back way too hard in this moment where she's like, Nasir is not a threat. Xander's the threat. He's got the extra vote. He's got the idol. And they're like, okay, we could get Xander out another time. Like, Nasir is also a threat. And she's like, but he's not as big of a threat. Like, she's really get some rice in that girl, because like get
some rice in Shan, because every show we watch, there's always someone who pushes too hard.
Yeah.
And they say no to your suggestion.
Yes.
They say, no, this thing has to happen. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
likes that. Nobody likes it. It will rub everyone the wrong way. You have, even in your head, scream it in your head. Scream no
That's
in your
right.
head.
But stay
and
calm.
Go, holy crap, they're changing the plan. And then you let them get it out and you go,
yeah.
I don't know, but gosh, Xander has this. And you just subtly get your points out there.
Yep. You can't yell over people.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. But lucky for Shan, frankly, Deshawn approaches her one-on-one and says, let's smooth this over.
Yes.
I still want to work with you. I think we can make this work. And she has a great moment where she's like, tell me so I can learn. Like, teach me how to communicate with you, which I think is so, like, this is her kind of taking a step back, I think, and realizing like, ooh, maybe I was a little bit too aggressive. And so she's like submitting a little bit, where she's like, okay,
so.
Well, no, I don't think she's legitimately submitting, but she's trying to make him feel like she is listening, which is the right move.
Absolutely. I mean, you pair that with a confessional with her being like, yeah, I have to listen to people all the time, but then I tell them why I'm right. Like, she's just pacifying him, which is exactly what you should do. I'm glad they had this nice adult conversation together. They obviously want to work together. Let's learn how each other communicates so that we can move forward. So in this moment, they are in agreement to stick with the Xander Tiffany plan. But now we're going to get a little off track because Shan's going to tell Xander it's Heather or Nasir. Which one's first? First, it's Nasir. Shan tells Xander it's going to be Nasir.
Okay.
And actually, I think Erica's the first one to say it. But anyway, Shan's right there in the story. So Xander's like, oh, it's Nasir. Okay. And then Nasir's like, no, don't say my name.
Right.
No. So they're like, okay, we'll tell him it's Heather. So now he's like, oh, okay, really? All the stories are changing. But then Heather's also like, no, don't say my name.
No, I know. And Shan, not a great episode for her, because I'm like, why are you the one who's in every single one of these conversations? Like, eventually, I think you need to remove yourself and be like, someone else can tell Xander that it's Heather, right? Because Xander immediately is like, boop, boop, like, what's going on? Like, Spidey sense, something's weird. So then he's making the rounds, trying to ask, like, is it really Heather or is it Nasir? He's talking to Tiffany, and Tiffany's like, it's me. And he's like, well, I thought it was me. They're both super suspicious. So then we get Tiffany going around and talking to everybody. And Tiffany's just trying to drag anybody she can with her and get on board with somebody. But then again, it's Shan who's out in the forest with Heather, telling Heather that it's her name. And to me, there's just way too many people who are like, what is the deal with Shan? Like, why is she in charge of everything?
Yeah. You got to be careful. Yes, you want your plan to go. You want it to go your way. But delegate. Have other people talk to other people.
Don't be the bad guy.
You are telling everyone which way to vote. And that is just, it's not, like we've said several times in this episode, we're worried.
We're worried. Yeah. Because I like this edit going into tribal. I'm like, oh no, this might flip on Shan. And Shan, first of all, is on my tribe for the fantasy draft. So I need her to stay. And she's also was my preseason pick to win. So I'm like, oh, I want you to last, you know?
Yes, I love her. I want her to last. I'm starting to be worried about it. But
I'm so worried.
All of this gives Heather her first strategic confessional where she actually talks to us about the game.
Wow.
It's mostly about Shan, but it's about the game.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yay.
Heather. Welcome.
Wow, Heather.
Yes. So glad you made it.
Yes.
You're here.
But that takes us to the tribal. And I'm at this point, like, I don't know who's going home. No idea. No idea who to be worried for.
I will say I'm worried for, I'm worried for like 6 people. Mostly at this point, I am worried for Shan. even though that doesn't end up, being an issue right now. But I'm worried for Xander and Naseer, two names who have been thrown around and two people who did not compete in the immunity challenge. I'm like, stepping out and doing whatever for the tribe does not guarantee you safety. It's such a huge risk. So I'm like, oh, I hope that doesn't like bite either of them in the butt, but it might. But they both have idols. So like, who knows, but they're people that I'm worried about. But we start with like a Heather not feeling safe, a Tiffany not feeling safe. And then Danny's like, let me tell you what happened here. There were a lot of theatrics at the last tribal council. And then those folks, they're trying to work with everybody else now. And I don't think so. That's not how this is going to go.
He did call them all out. And Evie was like, look, I'm not in with them. They were about to vote me, or they were going to let the idol just go. And I'm like pleading for my life over here. We're not together. Whatever. We very quickly, Shan was like, no, I'm not that hungry. I was just thinking about the tribe when I wanted rice for everybody. I was like, okay, girl. Sure. But then pretty quickly, Jeff's like, should we vote? And I was like, Jeff, we've barely talked at all. This seems odd. Oh, I see what's about to happen. Heather is like, oh, but I wanted to whisper a little. And Jeff's like, oh, okay, Heather. I didn't see you there. Go ahead.
He's also like, wow, Heather, I really gave you a lot of time there to say no, that you're not ready to vote. Like I said, is it?
Are we?
Time. Like I gave you a moment, but go for it. Go for it. And she's like, okay. So this is the sweetest.
She's like, is this how it works? Is this how it works?
She's like, okay, Tiffany, you stay here and just stay calm and be cool. And I'm going to go take care of it. Then she's pulling Erica. She's pulling, Evie, Liana. She's trying to flip the vote on Naseer. I'm like, I really thought that you were going to try to flip it on Shan, which I think maybe could have gone somewhere.
I don't know if anything Heather started at this moment could have gone anywhere, but it was quite adorable that she was like, I'm going to tell these people to vote this way. Because people were kind of like, what? Okay. Yeah. And it quickly gets over to the other group who's like, wait, what is happening? Why is this? Of course, Shan's like, no one else is allowed to talk at this tribal. What's going on? And then she finds out it's Naseer. Naseer ain't happy. Shan's like, let's flip it on Heather. Deshawn's like, no. And she's like, yes. And then, of course, we got to have another moment between Shan and Deshawn.
Okay, so I actually read this slightly differently in this moment because yes to all of that, except when Deshawn said, I don't want to do that. She said, okay, Deshawn, like, come here, let's talk about it. And he was like, nope, you're telling me what to do again. I'm good. Let's do it. And then she's like, no. And she comes up to him and is like pleading with him, like, please come talk. And he's like, you're shutting me down again. And I was like, she actually didn't shut you down. Like she threw out, like, she had it. She was like, we're flipping on Heather. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, we're getting Heather out. But then when he said, like, no, I don't want to do that, she actually was like, okay, let's talk. At least the way I saw it. And he just kind of like flipped. I think he's just had it with Shan. And he was like, here you go again, Shan. But I actually think she kind of welcomed his dissent in at first.
I certainly don't remember how that went exactly. So you might be right. We definitely know that she was like, let's flip it on Heather. And he was like,
Yeah.
What happened in between there? I don't remember. I do know that she walked over to him and was like, let's talk it out if you don't want to do it. And he was like, I'll do it, but don't keep doing this. And she was like, I'm not going to baby you. And he was like, yeah, you don't need to baby me. And I was like, oh, this is going to continue. This is going to keep going.
Done, that relationship. And I'm sure, I would not be surprised if next week Shan were trying to get Deshawn out, because I think she's going to recognize that, like, he's not on her side. Like, that alliance, I think, is done. They just clearly do not communicate well. She's like, really trying to show him in this moment, like, I don't want you to do something if you don't want to do it, but it's too late. Like the trust, the communication breakdown, it's just like gone, like that relationship, I don't think is going to be salvaged.
I don't know. We will see, but it is definitely strained. So I still don't know who's voting for who, but we eventually are going to go do some votes. And
Ricard is like, Xander, please play your idol. Please, please,
oh
please.
my
He's like
God, Ricard
begging.
could not stop.
Yeah.
Xander. I was like, you're trying too hard, Ricard.
I know.
Xander
right?
doesn't trust you that much. You guys are not that close.
Right.
Why would you be protecting him that much? No, it was so obvious to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, Xander doesn't, he does not do it, despite the fact, no idols played, right?
None. No then advantages whatsoever are played yet again.
No shot in the dark, no nothing.
Yeah.
So Xander, first 2 votes are for Xander. And immediately I'm like, oh no, like he should have listened to Ricard. Ricard knew. But then we get 2 for Heather. And this is expected, right? Because I'm like, okay, maybe they really, because there was a lot of like, Deshaun was saying to Heather and to Shan, I think like, I'm not going to do a live tribal every time. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, we talked about this at camp. I'm not doing a last minute flip. That's too much stress, But here I'm like, whoa, did the Heather thing really work? Well, then we get a vote for Nasir. Then we get 2 votes for Tiffany. I was shocked, Sarah. I was like, this is maybe one of the most chaotic tribals I've seen in a long time, to see 3 people with 2 votes and another person with 1 at this point. Like, you don't often see this kind of chaos.
Yeah, but that's what I expected, because I was like, none of this makes sense. Yeah. So many people are talking. There's several plans, and I feel like there's several confused people. So I'm not shocked that it was spread out, but I was surprised that it came back to Tiffany. Obviously, I'm sure after the Shan Deshaun conversation, there was probably more where they were like, just back to the original plan, just stick with the plan that we just didn't see. So the votes come back to Tiffany, and then that's going to be it. They're all for Tiffany there at the end. And she's out. I know that Tiffany was very entertaining and fun, but like, I expected her to go on this kind of early side. So I'm not super, super surprised that, she's the casualty at this point.
Yeah. Because she was playing hard, and I respected that, and that was really entertaining to watch. But when you play that hard, you get voted out, But I do think the way that
were so confusing. Like, I don't understand what happened.
I think the way the votes fell show that Liana is the only Yasa who's in any kind of plan, right? Because we got Xander is the vote for Nasir. Okay, you're clearly out of the loop. Evie and Tiffany were the 2 votes for Heather. So they fell for this alternate plan.
Yeah.
And then we had Danny and Nasir vote for Xander, which was probably some kind of backup plan, because then everybody else voted for Tiffany.
Yeah, it felt like that was the original split plan. And then, those Yasas were like, Evie said at the beginning of the tribal, she's like, no one told me to vote for her. And then someone finally told her to vote for Heather. So she was like, okay. Sure. What a mess. And then the preview coming up seems like it's still a mess. They're all after each other. They're all upset with each other.
Shan is fighting with too many people. I don't like it. Nasir and Heather are fighting because they were like saying each other's names, right? And Xander's like, we love to see it. And then Shan and Ricard are fighting. And then Shan and Deshaun are fighting. And I'm like, Shan, get it together. Get a grip. Like, these are your allies. Why are they the ones who are like fed up with you?
Yes, I know she is like so much better than half the people game-wise. I love so many of them for different reasons, but she gets it strategically. She gets it, but you've got to have the numbers. You can't just be in charge, because that's just not going to work if you don't have the numbers.
No, it's really not.
Oh my goodness. And I really love the Shan Evie battle. And it feels like, Evie's on the losing end of that, but maybe not. Maybe things are mixed up here. Also, is Evie just like a comp threat now?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, she won a reward and an immunity back to back. She's clearly done her homework. Like, I would not, that's the benefit of a lot of these, challenges being repeated season after season is you can practice them and kind of prepare for them. I mean, you obviously never know what's going to come up.
You should always
but
study.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even if there's new stuff, I'm sure the studying is going to help. But I mean, granted, this was the shortest challenge ever at 4 minutes, but it was a physical challenge that she won. So,
yeah.
Anyway, impressed.
Yeah.
Even with the mess. I'm impressed with the mess.
Totally. Yeah. I'm just like rooting for Shan. And, a lot of people are saying like she's getting a winner's edit and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know.
She could be getting a winner's edit. She could also be getting the edit of someone who was great, who was taken out at like Final 5.
That's right.
That is also
playing too hard. She just needs to lay low. She needs to lower her profile a little bit, and she needs to quietly pick off the people who are onto her. Because I think she's good with Danny. I think her and Liana are unbreakable at this point. Like, that's not going anywhere. But she needs to be especially careful with Deshawn right now. And Ricard, do not turn your back on Ricard because he's got the knife ready, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think he's handling things really well, where he says some things and then he's, steps back.
Exactly.
And lets things come to him. Like he's doing really well for someone who had very few allies.
And that is more of a winner's edit to me than what Shan is doing right now. So we'll see. We'll see. I haven't lost my faith in Shan because she's well positioned. She's surrounding herself with allies and all of these things. She's set up pretty well, but you got to take some notes from Ricard right now because he's playing a good game.
Yeah. Good point. I feel like Liana and Shan are a duo, and Danny and Deshawn are probably a duo as well. Like, if you cut one, you're losing the other. So
yeah,
we'll see. We will see. All right, you guys. Very fun, crazy, exciting episode tonight. Thank you for everyone who joined us live in the chat. We really appreciate it.
We do. And if you're joining us later, leave us a comment and let us know what you thought about the episode. How are you feeling about Shan's game? Are you sad to see Tiffany go? And who do you think is next?
Yes, let us know. And we will see you tomorrow for The Bachelorette. See you then, you guys.
Yes. All right. See you then. Bye.
Bye.